And according to an affidavit, the woman went to bed, but Shepherd didn't. She went looking for him, entered her daughter's bedroom, and that is when she told police she saw him, her 12-year-old daughter, again, Shepherd's stepdaughter. The woman actually held Shepherd up at gunpoint until the police got there. Believe that.
Sheldon, little bootleg ass studio.
I was down on my looking to hit me a lick, ready to get into some since I was a jit. I had big dreams of getting rich. Now we leveling up in this. Take a look at my kicks. You know we stepping on toughest nigga. First one to get hit, don't make me send a blitz. My head is itching for it. Hollow to spit like a list, but wait. Whoa, now what's the motherfucker can't deal? Welcome back to Sheldon's Bootleg Ass Studio, where we come to kick your vibe out and shoot this shit with Sheldon. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all for pulling up. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go and get up to this video of today. Now, title of this video says, Mom holds HIV positive husband at gunpoint when she finds him R-wording her 12-year-old daughter. Damn. This is wild business right here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's not waste no time. Let's go and get up into it right now.
If you ain't fucking with my nigga Sheldon, nigga, fuck you. Yeah.
Oklahoma youth baseball coach is under arrest after a woman says she caught him in the act of sexually assaulting her daughter in her own home. We're digging into this wild case with renowned predator catcher Chris Hansen.
Somebody done fucked him up, though. Look at his eye. It damn near look fake.
An Oklahoma youth baseball coach is under arrest after a woman says she caught him in the act of sexually assaulting her daughter in her own home. We're digging into this wild case with renowned predator catcher Chris Hansen. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
It's a wild business.
All right, we want to warn you that what we are about to talk about is extremely disturbing. I can't emphasize that enough, but with that warning, here we go. A man is accused of raping his own stepdaughter, and the abuse allegedly started when she was 11. Earlier this month, 39-year-old Donovan Scott Shepherd, a coach for the youth baseball team Oklahoma Aftermath, was out at a bar in Moore, Oklahoma. And that's when he allegedly got into a fight. According to police, his wife came to pick him up, took him home to Oklahoma City. And according to an affidavit, the woman went to bed, but Shepherd didn't. She went looking for him, entered her daughter's bedroom, and that is when she told police she saw him raping her 12-year-old daughter, again, Shepherd's stepdaughter. The woman actually held Shepherd up at gunpoint until the police got there, believe that. And to make this even more horrifying, when Shepherd was...
Hold on. So, did she see him doing that and go retrieve the firearm? Or was she already walking around with that firearm handy? Huh? Because, man, it would take, most women don't think logically in situations like that. They would react quicker out of emotions than they would think. So, most women would have said something, get the fuck off my daughter, yada, 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 would have said something out of emotion instead of saying, hold on, wait. I can say something and that'll get him off of her, but that he may, try to harm me. He may try to put his hands on me or her. So I need to protect myself. Let me go get this firearm first before I speak out and say something. I'm going to go get this real quick. And I'm going to come right back. And I'm going to hold. You know what I'm saying? Just like, man, come on now. How did that go down? She need to explain that.
Daughter's bedroom. And that is...
And his ass came from the bar drunk, ready for some action for this little bitty child.
Got into a fight. According to police, his wife came to pick him up, took him home to Oklahoma City. And according to an affidavit, the woman went to bed, but Shepherd didn't. She went looking for him, entered her daughter's bedroom, and that is when she told police she saw him, her 12-year-old daughter, again, Shepherd's stepdaughter. The woman actually held Shepherd up at gunpoint until the police got there, believe that.
Wonder how long he been the
stepdad.
stepdad.
Even more horrifying, when Shepherd was arrested, police say both Shepherd and his wife told them that Shepherd was HIV positive. When police later interviewed this young girl, she told them that Shepard raped her and that this wasn't the first time this had happened. No, she told authorities she was attacked 6 times, starting when she was 11, and claims that he even assaulted her on her 12th birthday. Shepard is facing a huge list of felony charges, 4 counts of rape, 2 counts of lewd molestation, 1 count of pattern of criminal offenses, and 1 count of exposing others to AIDS. My last look, he's being held on a $500,000 bond, and now we are going to talk about it. Let me bring in renowned journalist, predator catcher Chris Hansen, host of Takedown on True Blue. You can check it out at watchtrueblue.com. And also, he's
check out old Chris Hansen
podcast Predators I've Caught. Chris Hansen. Chris, so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming here on Sidebar. My gosh, this one, huh?
You can't make that up, Jesse. Thank you for having me. I wish it was on a little cheerier subject, but that's not why you have me on typically. So
I was just about to say, we never have you on any other subject, Chris. Come on now, Mr. Hansen.
No, I mean, I would love to have you on to talk about something else, but yeah, this
maybe
is just horrifying.
This thing is, it just takes predatory behavior to a whole horrifying level. I mean, think about this.
This hasn't been done. I mean, this has been done before. There's nothing new under the sun. You know what I'm saying? He didn't take it to a different level. He just took it to a level that we shouldn't go, and it is disturbing, very, very much so. But it's nothing new under the sun. This has happened before. Unfortunately, we've seen it happen.
I is HIV positive. He knows that.
I take that back. He did take this to a new level because his ass is HIV positive at that. Damn. I haven't seen this. I've seen people spread HIV knowingly, but I've never seen a stepfather knowingly do that to a stepdaughter. You know what I'm saying? That is a new level. Okay.
And he, in spite of that, he engages in this relationship, horrifying as that is, in and of itself, with his underage stepdaughter. It's mind-boggling to think about what was going on in his mind that allowed him to do this. I mean, it shocks the conscience on every level.
I wanted to ask you, Chris, in your experience, in the cases that you've covered, that stepfather, stepdaughter dynamic, do you see that a lot in your experience, and what does that tell you?
Here's what we see. Oftentimes, these fantasies played out on porn sites, you then see in real life. We just finished a sting, Jesse, this past week in Alabama, and we use this scenario in other states as well. It's not, exclusive to Alabama, where a mother is selling her daughter for sex, and it is consistently something that predators will want to engage in. And we had a case just last Thursday night. A man showed up after negotiating with someone posing as a child's mother to meet and have sex with a teenager. We've also seen it on the other side, where a guy traveled from Indiana to Ohio to meet with sheriff's department decoys posing as a father and daughter to have sex with a 13-year-old girl. So there is this fantasy in the porn culture out there. And I think when these guys who are predisposed to this activity anyway get all caught up in the porn part of it, suddenly watching it doesn't fulfill their fantasy. And they cross this line, Jesse, between fantasy.
And I know this off topic, but since we're talking about the corn industry, it has popularized the shaving of the twat. And most of those people who enjoy a shaved twat have some type of fantasy for younger women or little ass girls, which then created this whole genre of that in the corn industry. You see what I'm saying? So now everybody is mainstream now, because back in the day they used to have that thing Harry Woolly. You feel me? Even on the corn videos back then, it was Woolly. But now they've popularized it being shaved, all because of this fantasy of a younger appearing woman. And so they really want that unshaved or something with no hair on it And who has that naturally? The young girl, the girl, and not the woman. See, me as a man, I enjoy taming the jungle. So you feel me? Shave or unshaved? I prefer unshaved. You see what I'm saying? That's just me though. That's my preference because I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no little boy, and I want to see that grown woman when that's just me. This is something that I've noticed growing over the years because as a younger male in my lifetime, I often wondered why, these little acts of the pigtails, they have these, you know what I'm saying, in the corn videos, they have the little, the petite girl in the corn, with the pigtails looking like a little girl. I often wonder why? Because they really want to do that to a little girl. This is the fantasy of it, so they acting it out. But anyway.
See in reality, and that's when they show up at our door, or in this case, they commit this horrific crime.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. I always assumed, and maybe it was the wrong way to assume, and we still don't know the more details about this. He is innocent until proven guilty. But the thing is, I have always been curious that whether or not you have people who get into relationships with somebody in order to target the minor that's in that household.
Well, I think that happens too.
Definitely.
I think historically, when I break down these predators into categories, one of the categories is the guy who's a hardcore predator no matter what. And these guys will be the bad little league coach, the bad scoutmaster, the guy who shows up at the food court at the mall looking for opportunity, the guy who may, in some extreme cases, be the guy who marries a woman who's got a stepdaughter to get at the stepdaughter. This happens. Now,
damn,
how rare it is or how many times it happens, I can't tell you. But I do know that it happens. And we have seen this scenario play out before. We caught a guy in a predator investigation once who had been busted for abusing children who he met in one of those programs to be a foster father, on a Saturday, take the kids to the ball game. And he went through an entire family and sexually assaulted 3 of the kids in the family, boys and girls.
Wow.
And here he is at a predator sting. So it is a pattern. It does happen. Hopefully it's as rare as it would appear to be by, the cases that you and I see, but it does happen that way.
Yeah, so this story is incredibly unsettling. Just a reminder of how the world is unpredictable and not the safest, which, here you have these alleged crimes that took place from 2022 to 2024.
The time the girl was 11 years old.
Yeah, what does that tell you?
This ain't the first time he's done it to her. In life. This ain't the first time he's done this. He's done this to somebody else before,
Well, it tells you that he's a stone cold pedophile predator.
Yeah.
There are guys who try to take advantage of kids in their late teens, wrong, often illegal. But this guy specifically was targeting somebody who was very young, prepubescent probably, and very vulnerable. And these are the worst of the worst predators we see.
And he HIV positive.
And I will tell you, I think one of the most interesting witnesses, because in the information, the charging document, they have one of the witnesses is the doctor from the children's hospital that I feel could be one of the most important witnesses if you're trying to understand exactly what happened here, right?
Exactly. And we see this in many cases. We had a situation in Michigan where a guy met a 12-year-old girl on Instagram and groomed her for a period of weeks, flew up from Florida, convinced her to climb out of her family's bedroom window, meet him in a church park.
That I feel could be one of the most important witnesses if you're trying to understand exactly what happened here, right?
Exactly. And we see this in many cases. We had a situation in Michigan where a guy met a 12-year-old girl on Instagram and groomed her for a period of weeks, flew up from Florida, convinced her to climb out of her.
So you flew a 12-year-old from Florida, man. Wow, man. That's bold. That's bold. That is bold.
Family's bedroom window, meet him in a church parking lot, took her to a hotel, offered her money and other things that a 12-year-old girl would like, and sexually assaulted her to the point where she needed to be treated in an emergency room. And it was the treating physician there who alerted authorities, which worked this investigation into motion. And it turns out the guy they arrested in Florida had admitted to doing this 2 other times in other states. Wow. So this wasn't just a one-off, but it's,
It's good he admitted it. But damn, what makes you snitch on yourself like that? Okay, you got in trouble for this. Fucking just throw more charges on me, goddammit. You need it. Your ass need it and deserve it. But who does that? Like, I'm trying to get out of this trouble. I done got caught for doing something I wasn't supposed to do. Damn, I want the most lenient. That me though. I ain't no criminal. So I would think like that. You feel me?
Again, it goes back to, these are 2 different cases in that one was a stranger and one was somebody known to the child. But, you need to be vigilant. You need to have this discussion with children. But this one, the case we're talking about today, it takes it to a whole different level. Yeah. I mean, not only the act of it being so horrific, offensive, and just to ruin a child. And imagine the therapy that child's got to go through to get over this. And then
did she contract the disease? Did she contract it? That's what I want to know.
HIV on top of it. It's unimaginable, really.
Yeah, it's unthinkable. But again, I think for prove this case, the fact that you have the doctor who's able to document the forensics of this is going to be huge. The aspect of this that the wife was holding him at gunpoint until the police came. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, that's a first. And obviously that would indicate this wasn't one of those situations where the mother was somehow complicit or looked the other way or, didn't want to face the reality of it when she did find out. And oftentimes these extreme cases, as rare as they are, nobody wants to believe it. Nobody would suspect another human being of committing such an atrocity. So, they're not looking for it, so they don't see it. But when she did see it, to hold him at gunpoint would indicate to me, in terms of doing.
That's why you got to be so selective of the spouse that you have when you have kids. You got to be so selective on them, man. Yes, indeed. And I know people play these roles, they put on these masks, and it's hard to detect, but pay attention to them red flags. You have to pay attention to those red flags. Call those red flags out, or if it's something you can't deal with, pack your shit and get up gone, man, because real talk, you don't want to end up in no situation where it's something like this where it could jeopardize your life or your kid's life. You feel me? People don't really take that into account, when they out here having stepdaddies and stepmamas and shit.
The criminal math here that this is the first time she found out about it.
And the fact that he's a youth baseball coach, what does that tell you?
Well, it tells me that one of the reasons he's a youth baseball coach is to be exposed to children.
Exactly.
And to have access to children. And if he's doing this to his own stepdaughter, what has he done with other kids in his care who've been in his company? And to me, this would signal the need for a much larger, expansive investigation. And I'd be shocked if we didn't find some other, act here, some criminal act.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, there could be. It makes me wonder if other people would come forward if they have information about him.
I think typically once somebody has
his first time.
The courage to come forward, you see others do the same thing. Yeah. And so it would not surprise me one bit if you saw other people come forward.
I want to leave on this statistic and get your final thoughts on it. So according to the National Center for Victims of Crime, approximately 1 in 5 girls are the victims of child sex abuse. That is in relation or in contrast to 1 in 20 boys who are the victims of child sexual abuse. And it mentions that during a 1-year period in the United States, 16% of those between the ages of 14 and 17 have been sexually abused. And throughout an entire lifetime, 28% of U.S. youth between 14 and 17 have been sexually abused. And again, we're talking about somebody who is younger than this. We're talking about somebody who, by all accounts, if this wasn't detected by the wife, this probably would have continued, allegedly continued.
Till she got pregnant.
Just when you think about that stats and you think about how often we're talking about these kinds of things. Just want to give you the final thoughts on it.
This is why we do those stories. This is why we continue to expose these deeds and to try to catch these people before they actually harm a child. Now, have they harmed a child before they show up in our investigations? Maybe, potentially. And in some cases, I think it's probable. But the more we have parents talking about this, especially in this internet age where kids are exposed to all kinds of things for the first time, at a very young age, it's the dialogue. It's starting to talk to your child at the very moment they become active on the internet to say, look, there are adults who want to trick you. And no matter what happens or how foolish you feel, you can come to me and you're not going to get into trouble. This goes back 20 years, Jesse, to the first time we interviewed a bunch of middle schoolers about the predator investigations. We showed them video. They thought it was actors. They didn't think it was real. And I asked them, I said, how many of you have been approached by an adult online and it made you uncomfortable? All of them raised their hand, about 8 of them. I said, how many of you told your parents? 2. I said, why not? We didn't want them to take away the internet. That still applies today. You have to make this, whether it's sextortion or whether it's this kind of a crime, whether it's in the home, whether it's on the internet, you have to create an environment where a child can come forward and say, hey, mom, hey, dad, I don't feel so good about this. And you can't, yell at the messenger here. You can't blame them. You got to listen to them and you got to help them. That's our job.
So well said, Chris. I think that's really, really important. Listen, I really, really appreciate you coming on to talk about
Jesse,
this.
anytime.
Maybe we will talk about a cooking class. We'll have you on for lighter content next time. That'll be the goal if I can find something. But if you want to check out more Chris Hansen, host of Takedown on True Blue, check out the podcast Predators I've Caught with Chris Hansen. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it.
Sheldon, little bootleg
Damn.
studio.
That wild business, man. Shout out to that mama for holding that predator, punk ass predator at gunpoint. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And not being one of those turn the other cheek and pretend it never happened ass mamas. You know what I'm saying? Or just keep it in the family, and try to, get on his ass, but ultimately forgive him and, try to keep it on the hush-hush. Nah, she wasn't for that. She wasn't going for that. Yeah, hats off to you. Anyway, let me know how you feel about this in the comment section below. If you vibed all the way out to the end, I really do appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, indubitably. Yes, indeed, I created a new channel a new page on Facebook. Make sure you follow me on SheldonVybez Reloaded. Help me get to 5,000 followers over yonder. Understand me? Yes, indeed. Until next time, I'm SheldonVybez. I need y'all to be cool like the other side of the pillow. Stay light on your toes like you suppose. Oh, yeah, no.
If you ain't fucking with my nigga Sheldon, nigga, fuck you. Yeah.
Oh, God.